Subtitle: Ladies and gentlemen, today's tale is about frenzied shopping and a cart clash. Peck had just gotten his meds when his daughter's scream made him turn to see a cart crashing into the shelf. Peck hurried over, picked up the child, and saw his wife under dark siege before he could run. Peck dashed in to stop it, but suddenly it turned into a gunfight action scene, and he had to eliminate this discount thug to save his wife. Just then, a cop rushed in all flustered. Peck immediately raised his hands, but the cop seemed more interested in a Food Network show, ignoring him completely. When they got out, their car was nowhere in sight, so Peck had to run with his family to a nearby building. It was a real-life find-the-car game. The neighborhood had turned into a chaotic party, with explosions and fresh zombies crashing the scene. Just as Peck's family locked the door, they heard uninvited guests sneaking up from. While looking for rooms, Connie spotted an uninfected family, and Peck hesitated before deciding to roll the dice and quickly duck in. After a quick rest, Peck decided it was time to leave at midnight, but the other family chose to sit quietly out of fear, and he didn't push it. After whipping up some zombie defense, he led his family to the rooftop. Not long after they stepped out, the remaining family received a surprise visit from zombies. Peck faced a zombie attack too, urging his family to go ahead while he played the hero. These zombies came at him like rockets. Peck was quickly pinned against the wall, and as he struggled to shove them off, another zombie flew in, splattering him with blood. Talk about a bloody battlefield. After eliminating one, Peck saw a little boy playing zombie survival. Suddenly, the boy tossed in a flare, pointing out the helicopter's location. Fortunately, Peck wasn't infected. Upon the helicopter's arrival, he blocked the door. His family scrambled aboard as SWAT aimed his gun. Wow, time for a wide view. Subtitles: Seizing the opportunity with all his might, Peck dashed away, and ultimately, his entire family was safely transported to the command ship of the United Nations, where they were immediately greeted by a lifeline of hope. Secretary Terry waited long. After burying Peck's family, he told Peck their family was in a stalemate. Every night at midnight, the family engaged in a sad symphony of banter. Hilarious. Every night at midnight, the family engaged in a lively exchange, just like a comedy family sitcom. Terry told Peck the current situation: the president became a zombie, and the ground command center fell. A real executive survival guide twist. Seoul Command Center is now at sea, where Peck's family enjoys scarce resources. A market turned upside down. But nothing comes free. Peck was once the United Nations top investigator, a real power player who fought in countless battles. General ordered Peck to take an expert to South Korea for the SWARS, a disaster trip. Peck didn't want to leave his family and flat out refused, but the general shot back. No way. Back to the wasteland it is. Resources couldn't be wasted on ordinary folks anymore, leaving Peck with no choice, and it was time for a courageous hero's farewell to his wife. As an investigator, Peck's superpower was his amazing insight, always spotting new opportunities in the little details. So, survival odds were high. Then he boarded the plane with the virus expert for a high-flying adventure. The plane lifted off from the command deck, heading straight for South Korea. A legendary night flight. Upon arrival, the pilot said there was absolutely no traffic control at the airport. Felt more like they landed in a ghost town. Clearly, it's a dead zone. Open the door, everyone's rushing to meet the troops. While waiting, Peck handed the virus expert a gun to help him with self-defense, but as soon as they stepped off the plane, zombies attacked like they were. The expert, clueless with the pistol, sent himself to the beyond as special forces arrived like heroes. With no time to waste, Peck had to follow the troops into the base, overwhelmed by how explosive things had just been. What a way to go for the self-exploding. After hearing, the captain was stunned, but already there, Peck took over the expert's task. The captain explained to Peck that these zombies were attracted to sound, and bullets wouldn't totally take them down. Only headshots would do the trick. Then the captain took Peck to a charred house, where the remains belonged to the first infected in South Korea, true nameless casualty of. Next to him lay the infected colonel. This peculiar soldier unexpectedly reacted during the investigation, rolling his eyes and taking a bite. Truly a stereotypical zombie legend. And so the disaster unfolded as such. Whether or not he was the global first infected remains a mystery. Head turned to ash, investigation impossible. Meanwhile, Peck noticed the soldier's injured foot. Captain continued, this guy was among them, yet the surrounding zombies ignored him completely. Everyone thought had hit the jackpot, but Peck was deep in thought when he spotted someone locked in a cage, someone who worked for the CIA before, and he was quite intrigued. After a few exchanges, they informed Peck that only Israel was safe, as their leader got the intel ahead of time and built a high wall to fend off some. Whether the info was true or false, Peck had to check it out. The plane took off in the night rain, heading into the unknown for a let's see this through moment. Soon, they reached the sky over Jerusalem. With normal air traffic control and a bustling airport, it was like the promised land for survivors. Peck told the pilot to wait in the plane, ready for immediate takeoff, and went to meet the officials. After some inquiries, he learned they intercepted a letter from an Indian general that mentioned the zombie incident. Although the reliability was questionable, they still erected high walls, undoubtedly a survival barrier. As Yal led Peck to the city entrance, he mentioned that the source of the Zero patient might be India or linked to black market transaction. Origins vary widely with no solid info. A wall separates two worlds. The individuals who had been rescued and brought into the city started to sing joyfully. However, the electric current noises were broadcast outside through the loudspeakers, giving rise to a phenomenon known as a musical counterattack. This triggered the zombies, and they poured in, turning the scene into a mad music festival. The chaotic and disordered scene left everyone in a state of utter astonishment, prompting them to think without hesitation. Hurry up and subscribe to our channel to stay informed and enjoy more thrilling content at any time.